Hello again YouTube, welcome to my review, nearly a year's review of my RI Tour X4 helmet. As I say, I've had the helmet now for just coming up to a year, so I think I'm probably qualified now to give a fair opinion of the lid and what I like about it and what I'm not so keen on with it. So it's the RI2 X4, it's 2015 model, bought brand new. It's a diamond white, or whatever they call it, but plain white effectively. It has got kind of a metallic finish to the whites, which you can see more in the sunlight, etc. But it's quite a smart looking lid. This one retails at about £360 in the UK. As it's the plain base colour. The ones with the patterned colour schemes are over 400 quid. I didn't really want a patterned colour scheme. I mean, it's all personal choice anyways. Just one of those things that I'm happy with a white lid. I think it looks smart with a black visor, added to which the black visor is very useful. I ride mainly in daylight. Do have a clear visor which I try to carry with me if I'm going on long trips, but I just like the way it looks and the way the black visor works when it's on the lid. Choice wise, when I came to buy this, I already liked the style of it. It was a toss up really between this and the equivalent Shoei model. I know that some people say that you've either got an RI shaped head or a Shoei shaped head, so I'm either very lucky or a bit freakish in that both seem to fit me quite well. On fit, one of my gripes with lids in general, not just RI, okay, it wouldn't be fair to just aim this at RI, is that the sizing seems to go sort of 53 to 54, 55, 56, 57, 58 and 59, 60, etc. It basically leaves an in-between size, in my opinion. For instance, I'm a 57, so I buy the 57 to 58. However, most of them, this lid in particular, once it's bedded in, it's slightly too big. I could really do with a size 56 to 57, which I'd never seem to be able to find. Why they do this, I'm not quite sure, and I know RI offer replacement inserts for this particular helmet. I'm sure they do it for others, but you're talking an extra 50 quid for something that you've got to try before you know if it's going to work or not. And if it doesn't work, well, it's a helmet, you've used it, you don't get a refund. So I came up with another option. Ever the tight-fisted Yorkshireman, there's a company in the UK called Davida who mainly make and distribute open face helmets, of which I had one a while back. But what they do is they offer a half sizing kit, and it's basically a set of sticky foam pads that you stick on the inside shell of your helmet, and it costs about 6 quid. So I've done that. It's just padded it out enough so that when I'm on the bike it feels a little bit more snug. One thing I found was that when you get up to speed, the wind can catch the sun visor and either lift the helmet up slightly or push it down onto your head, depending on your head position. So that's helped with sizing. Oops, sorry, knocking you all over there. It helped with sizing a little bit, and it just feels a little bit better. Going into the inside lid, I'm not going to pull it to pieces, and I'll try and keep you in shot. Just bear with me if it does go out of shot a little bit at times. Do apologise, but I don't have a posh camera with a swivel LCD screen. It's on the back. So good quality, as you'd expect with an RI. You can't really fault the build quality on these lids. It's got good padding, which is all removable, it's all washable. The emergency pull-off tabs here speak for themselves. As I say, I'm not going to pull it to bits. As you can see, I've got a Bluetooth intercom wired in. I've also got a lav mic wired in there for my voice recorder when I'm on the bike. It's got the good old D-ring chin strap, D-ring fastening chin strap with a press stud just to tidy it up. I prefer these to the ratchet systems, each to their own, but I like these. It's also got a chin bar or a little foil there to cut down on the breeze under your chin. Never really stays up at the minute with me because I've got a big old beard, but there you go. Vent wise, there's a ton of vents on this lid. Front one operated by a switch on the front, it's really easy to get to, and on the inside of that, I don't know if you're going to be able to see, but in here there's also another sliding mechanism which you can open and shut that vent a little bit wider. Coming back to the front again, you've also got these two sort of meshed, they are metal actually, they're not plastic, it's really good quality vents, and again these open, if you can see that on the camera, these open by a sliding mechanism just on the inside of the chin bar. So good vents on the chin. You've got the usual RI eyebrow vents, and then underneath the visor you'll be able to see them in a sec when I tilt it up, but you've got two more vents on the top there, intake vents operated by switches on the top, dead easy to use, even easy to use with gloves. So they're your intake vents, and then moving on to the back, your exhaust vents. Sliding switches to cover them up, and they work pretty well. You can certainly tell the difference when you open them up when you're on the move. A couple more exhaust vents at the bottom there. The visor mechanism is pretty good on this lid. We've got a tab there which assists you lifting the visor up. It is a kind of a soft ratchet system with various positions. That's not closed completely, because then you can push on the tab and it clicks shut and locks the visor down, which is another thing I like about the lid. You do get quite a good seal when it is shut. The visor's ready for pin lock. You can see the little tabs there. It is a bit of a faff, I've found, getting the pin lock inserts to sit flush to this visor. You do have to fiddle with the little cam system on the pin locks. If you just turn it until you get the pin lock insert to sit flush, because if you don't do that, the minute you get weather where you're gonna get some misting and condensation in your lid, that'll get between the pin lock insert and your visor, and it's completely useless. So you do have to get that right. It's a bit of a faff, but once you've got it right, the pin lock worked quite well. Without it, and I have tried it without, even with all the vents on this lid, I found it was misting up horrendously once the visor was shut. I rode at quite a wet ride a while back, and I found that the problems were twofold without the pin lock. One is when it was locked shut, I was getting really bad misting even with all the vents open, and I found that if I just opened the visor a little bit just to let some air in to stop it misting, with it being really heavy rain, the rain was then going down, especially at a standstill, down the front of the lid and dripping under the visor, and of course when it's not completely shut you haven't got that complete seal, so you're getting water down the inside, and I think for what's supposed to be an adventure bike style helmet, it's a little bit of a flaw, which brings me on further up to the sun visor. This is the first lid I've had with a sun visor, and I really like it. Even when I'm riding with a clear visor in the sun, you get this position correctly, and it really does help reduce that glare, and you only need to tilt your head a little bit if you've got low sunlight, and it really helps stop you getting dazzled too much by it. However, my biggest gripe with this lid biggest gripe is the way that the visor and the sun visor fix on. You've got 2 screws either side, so you've got the 2 this side and 2 the other side. They're plastic, and you might be able to see already they're starting to gnarl up a bit because it's quite a wide slot, so unless you've got a perfect, absolute perfect fit screwdriver, you're going to get some slippage in there. You know, when you turn the screw, it's going to mash it a bit, and they're really soft plastic, so it's dead easy to do. It's not because I'm completely ham-fisted buffoon or anything like that. It's just, it's soft plastic. But you have to remove these 2 screws, and then this little plate, and then the visor, the sunshade visor that is, the peak, before you can remove this visor. Now, I'm pretty sure that most helmet manufacturers, RI included, have had quick detach visor systems for many years. I know this is the case because I'm old and I've been riding for many years. Why, RI, did you design a lid of this price and of this quality with such a shit system? That's my opinion. You might like it, other RI 2X4 owners, you might like it, and that's fair enough. I think it's shit. There is nothing to stop them from introducing a similar visor removal system. You know, for the face visor at least, if they want to keep this as a screw-on option, then I'm sure they could devise something. They're clever blokes at RI, they're not stupid. It's not beyond them to introduce a quick detach visor system on this. Other helmet manufacturers do it, and I think, if I'm really honest, with hindsight, if I'd looked around more and not just gone for the one that I thought looked like a stormtrooper, I'd have probably got something else. If I'd really thought about this system before I bought the lid. It's very secure once it's on. It's just a complete fiddle, and if you are out on a ride and you need to change visors, like I've got my black visor on now, if the sun goes down, I'm left with 2 options. Either I carry a screwdriver everywhere and faff about at the roadside trying to change the visor, or I carry a pair of goggles. You shouldn't have to be doing that with a 400 quid helmet, 360 in this case, but you get my drift. You really shouldn't. I'm gonna stop there before I labour the point, but that really is a huge gripe for me with this lid. It really spoils what is otherwise an absolutely superbly built helmet, a superb looking helmet, a very comfortable helmet once you get the fit right. But that one thing really spoils it, and it's a bit of a shame. But there you go. What else have I got on here? You can probably see I've got a mount on the top here for a GoPro and another mount on the side. I'm probably going to remove this one. I wasn't keen on the view when I've tested it, and there's quite a lot of drag once you're up to sort of motorway speeds with that, and you look like a Teletubby. I'm not sure if you get Teletubbies in countries around the world, but basically it sticks them on the top, and Teletubbies have things coming out of their heads. Teletubbies are a kids program, by the way. For those of you who've got kids, you will know. So I'm probably going to stick with the side mount. For shorter trips, I think you get a good view on that with a camera. I'm not going to go too much into camera positions, but I think you get a good view on the side mount. It's fairly comfortable, it doesn't drag. I've not found it drag too much. You can notice it a little bit, but on the longer trips I'll mount the camera to the bike anyway. So I think that's about it. Fairly short and sweet. As I said, I've had it a year, cost me 360 quid. The big question, I suppose, Questions. Would I recommend it, and would I buy it again? Well, in answer to the second one, would I buy it again? In its configuration, no, I wouldn't. If RI come out with something with a quick release visor system like they do on many of their other helmets, like many other manufacturers seem to do on their helmets, including their ADV, the adventure bike style helmets, if they came out with that, then the answer might change. I probably would buy it again, albeit, as I said, one of the other things, it's not the quietest helmet I've ever had, and that's in comparison with other RIs, Shoei, even my Bell Custom 500 open face lid felt quieter than this. Whether that's to do with the fact you've got the peak on there and airflow disruption, and obviously I've mounted these little bits, whether it's to do with the fact that the Tiger Explorer is renowned for causing buffeting and wind noise due to the standard screen, I'm not sure. I'll be trying a different screen on the bike in a few months' time. I'm looking at getting an MRA Vario screen, so I'll review that when I get it. But it is quite a noisy lid. It's not as quiet as others I've used. Combine that with the fact that this is just awful, this visor removal system, in my opinion, and I wouldn't buy it again. Would I recommend it? Yes, with reservations. It is a good quality lid. There's no doubt in that. There's a lot of bits inside it that are interchangeable. As I said, the padding is interchangeable, it's removable, washable. The vent systems are quite good on warm days. The peak is very good when you get low sunlight. You get that RI quality. You know you're buying into a top quality brand with RI. But the reservations would be visor removal system. Sorry to labour the point, but there it is. It really is a shocker, in my opinion. And again, I would suggest try one on in a shop before you buy it, and be really sure. Walk around the shop, wiggle it on your head, because if like me, you fall at the edge of everybody falls at the edge of one of those sizing brackets, but the 57 for me, once it's bedded in, is slightly too big. And if they offered a 56 to 57 rather than just a 55, 56 and a 57, 58, then a 56, 57 might be perfect for my nuts, but they don't do one. So you've got to improvise, as with many things. Again, I think you shouldn't really be improvising like that on a helmet that costs the best part of 400 quid. You just shouldn't be doing it. It's not just that criticism isn't, as I've said, just aimed at RI. There's many manufacturers do that, but it's time it was changed, really. Get the fit right. You need one thing with the helmet. You need the fit to be as perfect as possible. So there we go. I'd recommend it with reservations. Am I fairly happy with it? Yeah, I am. In general, I am. I know I've griped quite a bit, and it sounds like I really hate it, but I don't. I love the look of the lid. I love the quality. It's nice and comfy now. I've adapted it. I love the peak. I just don't like the removal system, and if I can cut down on the wind noise by adapting the bike, then I'll do that. It's a shame. There's those two flaws, but they are quite significant ones, and just something to bear in mind before you go ahead and splash out the money on this particular helmet. Not saying don't do it, but just consider it and consider your options. There's a lot of options out there, not just Shoei. You've got lots of manufacturers now making these style helmets, adventure bike style helmets, which are designed to look a bit like a motocross helmet, but they're aimed at road riders. Loads of vents, a proper visor, rather than having to use goggles. And there's lots out there, lots of reviews on YouTube. Have a look, try a lot on before you spend your money, and don't just be suckered in by how it looks and that name. Good as it is, don't just go by that name. So there you go. I hope that's been useful to somebody, if it has been, give it a like. Feel free to subscribe. My channel isn't monetized, I don't make anything from it, I'm doing it as a hobby. But you know, if you like it and want to see more of these vids, I will be doing some more in the future, so give us a subscribe if you feel like it as well. Please feel free to make some comments with your views on it. You know, you might well come along and say, well, it's not as good as so-and-so lid. It might well not be, but I don't know, because this is all I've got to compare. You know, the other helmets I've had have all been road-based helmets, so this is my first adventure bike style lid. I've got nothing else really to compare it with other than how lids look. So there you go, my review anyway, year's review of the RI Tour X4 helmet. I'll be back soon with some footage of an upcoming trip to Yorkshire. So I'm going back to my homeland, up from sunny Norfolk to sunny Yorkshire, hopefully next week, for some camping and some beer and some good riding. Not necessarily all together. Take it easy, ride safe, thanks for watching.